Yo, welcome back to Yo Nerd, the podcast where we talk about nerd culture news, share opinions, and debate on pretty much anything. I'm Jace.
I'm Zion.
I'm Noah.
And today, guys, we're going to talk about and discuss Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a new Disney Plus show.
All right, so far, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has released 5 episodes. They have a weird release schedule, which is messing with me a little bit. I feel like it's messing with the show, which is really unfortunate. Like, they released 2 episodes at first. This week was 3. Then next week will be 3 episodes. And then the final week will be 2. So they kind of took 10 episodes and put them into 4 weeks. And I get it. It's, I don't think a lot of people are watching the show, but a little bit of a bummer that, I feel like the structure so far has kind of stunted it a little bit. It's like we're getting 3 episodes a week. But again, before we get into it, please like, subscribe, comment below what you think about the show. So far, it's a really interesting take on the character. We have Peter Parker, who we're seeing him get his powers initially, and then we see a few weeks into him being Spider-Man and the connections that he's making along the way. We see Norman Osborn in the show. He's a main player. A lot of different takes on Spider-Man's villains. Some of his friends are different completely from what we usually get in a typical Spider-Man story. So we're just kind of seeing him grapple with what does it mean to be a hero in this world. And the universe is very similar to the MCU. Right now, the Sokovia Accords are going on. The events of like Captain America Civil War are happening. So it's cool getting to see that in a different universe with Spider-Man kind of doing his own thing. So overall, what do you guys think? We can start with Spidey first. What do you guys feel about this version of Peter?
I'm not gonna lie, he's very Tom Holland coded. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but everything down to like we kind of see a little bit before we see him in the MCU in Civil War. So if you guys remember from Civil War, when he meets Tony Stark, he's like, "Oh, there's this crazy car parked outside. I found this DVD player." In the show, it's the same exact thing. So I'm like, is this Tom Spider-Man? And then of course it was Norman Osborn that he met.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah. First of all, do you guys like the show?
Yeah.
As a whole?
Yeah. I think it's been great, actually.
Yeah, no, I honestly didn't have any expectations for it. I really am enjoying the show. I think they're doing things differently, which I also enjoy. And we'll get into that as well later. But yeah, I'm enjoying the show a lot.
I actually thought it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't have expectations.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been really surprising.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they're obviously doing things differently. Like instead of meeting Tony, he met Norman Osborn. They're introducing a lot of different characters that we don't usually see. Like Spider-Man's best friend, we've seen different versions of that. Obviously, we've seen Harry in the MCU. We've seen Ned. Now he has a female best friend. Her name's Nico. And then his love interest, her name is Pearl. And then, we see, obviously, because we don't see the Osborns except for, like, obviously in No Way Home. But
yeah. Spoilers, by the way, for like everything Marvel.
Yeah. But no, we're seeing a lot of different characters that I've only like heard of, never seen before, or really read before, anything like that. But how do you guys feel about those characters? Do you enjoy them, or do you wish it was just the same characters that we've seen?
I've honestly enjoyed most of them a lot. Are we gonna talk later about like our favorite characters and stuff? So should I keep that?
We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
Is
there a debate?
What?
Is there a debate in favorite character? I feel like we are all probably gonna have the same one.
It should all be the same one. It's pretty clear.
All right, I'm hoping, yeah.
But in terms of Peter, I think he's been pretty cool. It's pretty similar to what we've gotten before, but they definitely switched some stuff up and kept it fresh, and I've been enjoying it. It's pretty cool.
He's still really nerdy, I find.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, he always is that too. But I feel like this one especially is like, dude, you are a nerd. Because I feel
Yeah.
like you said, Jace, he is very Tom Holland coded. But at the same time, Tom Holland has that like kind of movie star cool to him at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
or at least that's what I always perceived in the movies. Like,
I mean, because it's Tom Holland.
yeah, right. But
Yeah.
this guy is like, dude, like,
No.
like, dog, like, we don't need to walk around in like a blue jacket and a yellow polo every day. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
The glasses are crazy. The circular glasses.
but I really like that they went that direction with the character, because what the show balances really well is this kind of retro Spider-Man feel with like modern elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's set in the modern day, but it also feels like really retro and really, I've been trying to put my finger on it because it feels very Spider-Man, but at the same time it's so different from Spider-Man stuff we've gotten previously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole cast of characters is so different. Like you said, Nico and um you know Lonnie
Pearl.
and Pearl, like all these characters, it's all so different, and they've switched a lot of the characters, different races, different
Genders.
genders, like things
Yeah.
like that. But at the same time it still feels so core to Spider-Man. I don't know how they did it, but it's been impressive. It's been really cool take on the character.
I think a lot of it has to do with the animation. It feels like a straight up comic book.
Mm,
Like you're watching a straight up comic book. That's what the animation. I mean, that's what I would assume they were going for,
yeah,
cuz they took a different take on animation with Into the Spider-Verse.
right.
And that still kind of looks like a comic book, but you still see those differences. Like when it shows
Hmm.
the comic books in the Spider-Verse movies, it's a
Yeah,
different sort of style, but this is a straight up, it looks like you're reading a comic book, if that
right.
makes sense. That's probably why it feels Spider-Man, but also like you said, it's different because the characters are different, the stories are different,
Yeah.
like things like that.
Did you guys like the animation?
At first I didn't.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of growing on me,
No,
Yeah.
but
I'm becoming numb to it at this point. But with the first like 2 episodes, I completely despise the animation.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it.
I I had the opposite, where in the lead up to this show, I was like, no, it looks terrible, like whatever. First episode, I'll admit it was weird. But it's kind of one of
yeah.
those things where it's like, okay, you have to get used to that style. And then once I did, I was like, oh, this actually, it looks good. It's not, again, like you were just saying, it's not a Spider-Verse necessarily. It's a much more simple style. But I think even that reflects the comments, the comics well, excuse me, in that uh like you can read book to book and there's so many different art styles in the comics based on who's drawing, who's coloring, things like that. So I kind of took it like that, but I do understand where people are like, nah, the animation it's not
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that I wish we got to see was him like figuring out his powers for the first time,
Yeah.
because he got bit and then it flashed forwarded 3 months,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to see like what it was like when he first realized there was something up. Like we
Right.
get to see it. We didn't get to see that with Holland, and
It's
we didn't
true.
get to see or we did get to see it with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. So I'm like, if this person or if this Spider-Man is very much like Tom Holland, can we at least see
Mhm.
what it was like when he first got his powers or when he first figured out he had powers?
Yeah.
But um, as like it's crazy because how many episodes were in? 5, right?
Yeah.
There's so many villains already. He's fighting like he's fighting like 3 villains per episode, and the
Yeah.
episodes are 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
Who
Let,
do we have so far?
let's talk about
Let's
it. So
let's go over it.
this won't be in order, because there's villains, and then there's like what's great about this show, there's so many Easter eggs and teases
Yeah, and
to different
setups. Yeah.
characters. Like, I won't even touch the surface in terms of like everyone here, but we have he fought Unicorn, the Russian woman with the laser
Mhm.
thing. Speed Demon and Tarantula were in a relationship. He was the couple that Peter fought. We have, obviously, spoilers again, we have Doc Ock, who we find out is the person building all the tech for these weapons, which was a cool twist to me. I was not
That was
expecting
cool.
to see Doc Ock.
Me either.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, looking at the show, I was expecting more like, I think they're taking these smaller characters and throwing them in because it's early. So when Doc Ock came, I was like, oh snap. Like, I wasn't even thinking, who are we going to see? So that just opened up a whole bunch of stuff. We have Scorpion, who, again, different take on the character. He doesn't have his whole weird scorpion suit. Like, he's literally just a gang
gang member.
leader,
Yeah.
in this world. We have Butane, who is the fire guy. Teases to different people, potentially Chameleon, the actual Rhino, things like that. But those are kind of the main people that we've seen in the show. And then, of course, we should probably spend a minute talking about it. Tombstone,
Ah,
dude. So you guys were saying earlier you have a favorite character. My guess is it was Lonnie.
Yeah, Lonnie.
Yeah.
100%. It's not even close. Come
I
on now.
love the twist that they gave Lonnie in this show. It's something I would never think of in a million years. But like, dude, crazy. When I heard Lonnie Lincoln, I was like, that name sounds so familiar. Who is he? And then I looked it up and I was like, no.
Oh man,
It's tough. Talk a little bit about Lonnie.
they did. I knew. Like, I knew it was too good to be true. It was too good to be true. Like, at first when because at first I thought he was just gonna be like Peter Parker's rival, kind of like a Flash,
Yeah.
Right.
sort of thing.
And then he's
And
like
then,
the coolest guy ever.
Exactly.
Best guy, bro.
He took his girl, but then he's like the athlete, but he's super smart and he's really nice. And I'm like,
Right.
nah, something's up with this guy.
Yeah.
And then he saved his brother from the gang. As soon as there was a gang involved, I was like, oh, it's over. Like, he's got to have something going on. But it's tough, man.
One thing I love about the show, like, it's so respectful to different cultures, different ways of life. So with Lonnie coming from like a low income neighborhood, like them not having a lot of money, we see the scene where like his car declines, he's trying to get people's lunch and stuff like that. Like, it's very respectful of different communities and different cultures. And I even love the care that they're telling in telling the story about like him joining this gang, him growing to be a part, because that's honestly a lot of times how it is. Like, gangs are a really tough system, and they really trap a lot of people, unfortunately. But at the same time, we're seeing Lonnie, like, especially at the end of episode 5, like kind of growing to accept this group, find community and belonging there. And that's how a lot of people fall into gangs, is when they don't have community, they don't have people around them. And they're these guys that like, hey, we'll have your back. Like, we'll become your family. They even said that to Lonnie about their little brother. He's like, or when he came to get his younger brother, Andre, they're like, no, he has like new big brothers now, like, it's just a crazy system. And I haven't seen this level of like detail and dedication given to something like that in any superhero media. Actually examining like, why does this happen?
Right. Yeah.
We just see, oh, they're a gang, they're a criminal organization. The superheroes come in, beat them up. Like, so it's a crazy, like, I was not expecting this level of depth from this show,
already. We're only halfway through.
But no, Lonnie's your favorite?
Yeah. He's low-key like the main character of the show, which I'm kind of enjoying.
A little bit.
Like, we've seen way more of his character than Pete's character. Even if Pete has more screen time, he's kind of just doing Spider-Man stuff. But like, Lonnie's been the like actually like the core part of the series.
I actually didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's really been no development for Peter thus far besides his suit. Which, do you guys like the suit?
The Future Foundation suit, like the white one.
Suit.
It's cool,
but it's a little bit different because usually it's white and black, but this one's blue.
Yeah, I think it's kind of clean. It does give off that sterile vibe a little bit that Harry was talking about, but It is clean at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good suit, you know?
I kind of like that one with the wings, the black one.
Nah, the first one, bro.
That was
cape.
so bad. The cape, you mean?
Yeah. Dude, those were
That
so
was
funny.
bad.
That whole montage was great. Like him trying the different suits and different. It was so good. Speaking of that whole part of the story, how do you guys feel about Norman Osborn being in this role?
Hold on, before we talk about him, can we talk about his cut real quick? What is this guy doing with his hair, bro? That might be
Comics
the
accurate.
craziest.
What?
It's
Is
comics
it actually?
accurate.
Is it?
I feel like, okay, it's been a debate for a long time. If you look in the comics, white man Norman Osborn has always had like waves, like legit waves. So people obviously, like they would always make jokes like, "Why does this man have waves?" Hold on. I'm gonna find a picture. You
Yeah, I
guys
need
keep
to.
talking.
No, put it. We'll put it up on the screen for
Oh
you
yeah,
guys
yeah. I'm
too.
gonna find it right
What he
now.
looks like.
So I don't know, dude.
That's crazy.
No. Don't play with me right now. I'm about to drop it in. About to drop it in text.
All right, let me see this. Oh, I don't even know where my phone's at. Oh, here it is.
You're
about to see
telling
something
me
crazy.
that this is not a light skin right here?
Bro,
What the heck?
why does this man have cornrows? Pretty much.
He has since the beginning. I'm not even playing. That's always how they've drawn Norman in the comics.
This man, I mean, those are pretty much cornrows. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't care. His hair still looks goofy.
Nah, his hair is so bad.
I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah. No. Anyway, as far as his character goes, I'm excited to see how he develops into Goblin.
Yeah.
Because like right now he's all for Spider-Man. I feel like we've seen Harry obviously is close with Peter, and then something goes wrong. But with Norman, it's a little bit different. Like he was never, or we haven't seen him helping Spider-Man actively the way that he's doing right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, something big is gonna happen. Like I'm like, is something gonna happen to Harry, or something like that? I don't know. But so far, his character is like whatever. It's all great, I guess. But yeah, what do y'all think?
He's cool. I'm actually enjoying him probably a little more than Jace. I feel like he's a cool character. His voice also just sounds so like he just sounds evil, bro. I don't trust anything he says. He's sketchy.
Shout out Coma Domingo. Legend.
I guess.
No, he's cool. I mean, it's whatever.
I just don't want to be the villain of the season.
I don't think he will. I think they'll
I want him to
delay
finish
it,
out the
probably.
season as Norman. I don't want him to become Goblin yet.
They're already building a crazy Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Like Scorpion, Goblin, Doc Ock.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Already. There's already 3 of them.
Yeah.
Who else do they need? Rhino? Is Rhino in it?
No,
is
but
Unicorn gonna take the place of Rhino?
Potentially.
Because they did say Rhino. She's like, nah, I'm Unicorn.
Yeah. I thought she was gonna be Rhino for a second. I was like, okay,
I thought so too.
There's this universe's Rhino. It's like, no, a unicorn. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, cool.
The big dude's gonna be Rhino, right? The big dude.
So I was looking it up in the comics. That's actually Rhino's dad. But they could just do, a switch. Like Spider-Man already has beef with this guy. Yeah, they could easily do that. But yeah, I think they're setting up something really interesting. But it's cool seeing Norman in this role.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
Obviously it's not new to Spider-Man. There's always been that like, mentor figure, and then he turns evil. But I don't know. I just there's something that I can't quite place yet about him that's off. But it's like you guys are saying, you don't know what it is, because he's like got all these hero pictures, him and Captain America, him in the 5th episode, I believe, we see a picture in the hallway, him with King T'Chaka. Just these things of like, I don't really know what's going on yet. And yeah, it's just weird. It's weird.
I'm interested to see how that happens. And they won't do this season. I'm hoping, because I feel like that'd be rushed. So
yeah, I mean, we're halfway through, but
yeah.
they've already set up so much with like, I think Doc Ock is going to end up being probably the big bad of the season, as Peter starts to figure out, okay, who's the link between all these different villains that I'm facing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but again, like, I really hope this show continues. I don't know if there's been anything confirmed, because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I don't see a lot of people covering it, and it's so unfortunate because it's really good.
It is. Yeah, it's just because I feel like it's been so oversaturated recently that people are like, oh, it's another animated like Marvel show. Like, great, we got What If, and that was trash. So
Yeah.
like, what am I
Yeah.
gonna watch this for?
Right.
But
yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, because Marvel animation has had like a weird track record. We got like What If, which was a mixed bag, but especially in the final season, just not good. So that was like their main push animation wise, of like, this is the first Marvel animated show, like, whatever. And then Marvel Animation also gave us X-Men 97, and that
was great.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, and now they're giving us Spider-Man. Did What If kind of mess this up, or are people just kind of tired with, oh, it's another Spider-Man cartoon? We've seen so many of those.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Honestly, that's a good point, because didn't forget about X-Men, but X-Men was a great animated show.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a Spider-Man thing, because we have so many Spider-Man, like at so many different levels, like even like the little kid show Spider-Man. Like there's just so much of it that it's kind of, I don't know, like I said, oversaturated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Especially because
definitely.
it's not even canon. So like people are like, what am I even
Right.
watching this for the MCU?
I do kind of want to ask you guys real quick, since this Spider-Man, since the universe is so similar to the MCU, how would you compare so far this Spider-Man origin to Tom Holland's?
Compare
Or
it, what do you mean?
the
Like, which
stories?
is better?
Yeah, like, because what I'm thinking when I'm watching the show is like, dang, like that kind of would have been cool in the MCU, or like,
Oh, I
early
see.
on, like, instead of the Tony, I get why they did the Tony Spider-Man relationship so they could rope him into the Avengers, but I'm like, dang, I wish the world was built out a little more so we can get Normans and stuff in the MCU. Now I feel like you can't even do that story, because
No, you can't.
he already faced Green Goblin and like most of his major rogues gallery in No Way Home, and they weren't even his characters at the end of the
Right.
day. So it's like, dang, like I'm watching the show feeling kind of like, I kind of wish we got a little more of this than what we actually did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But that could just be me. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's tough just because in the MCU you're already on a specific storyline, so
That's
you
true.
can't branch out as much as you really want to, because like you said, Infinity War was coming. Infinity War came out a year after Homecoming. Like you
Oh,
have
did it?
to, yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Infinity War is 2018, Homecoming was 2017.
Got it.
So you have to speed the process up. Like that's why he met Tony. That's why he became an Avenger so quick.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can build it out. Like if you have multiple seasons down the line of this show, there's more that you can cover because it's strictly a Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it'd be tough to fit certain. I mean, yeah, like I wish we had seen stuff in the MCU, but they were doing too much already. Like you can't fit it all in. So
Yeah,
I mean,
That
that's
is
what I
true.
think.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
No?
I think this like pretty easily is a lot better than what we got in the MCU. Mainly because like we really didn't get an origin story in the MCU. Like we really seen him in New York. aside from like No Way Home a little bit. Like he hasn't. We went through a whole trilogy, and he has been pretty much everywhere else but New York. Like we haven't seen the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man yet.
No,
That's
that's true.
fair.
We
Yeah.
saw like one little montage of it in
Yeah.
Homecoming, and that was it. And it was barely even like he didn't even do anything. He was like stopping a thief, a bike thief, when it was his bike,
Right. Right.
or whatever.
Which I'm not trying to knock the MCU Spider-Man movies.
Oh yeah,
They're
not at
great
all.
movies. Like, and Tom, like, fantastic, you know.
Of course.
But it felt a little more like Spider-Man movies that had to conform to the MCU. When it's unfortunate that Spider-Man has such a rich cast of characters, rogues gallery, that kind of feels like cut at the feet, or that's not the right phrase, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Like they took out their feet from under them, and now we can't use so many of these characters and like lore and stuff like that. So I'm hopeful for Spider-Man 4. I really hope they take it back down. But then again,
they will.
We're getting close to Avengers 5 and 6. So I feel that same thing where it's like, dang, I feel like
honestly,
it's just going to be the same cycle.
Don't even bring him in the fight.
There's no way they're
I don't even
not
care.
going to do that.
I know, but I don't care. I'm done with this guy. I just want him to be in New York for like 2 movies. Like, just build out a cast, a couple people, like,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I want him to be in New York too, and I mean they set him up to be, so
Yeah.
probably
at least
probably
one
will be.
movie.
What's your guys' favorite? I guess what's your favorite moment /
No, I'm picking a dumb one, bro. I was watching this. Like, I think it was the first episode. The fire guy, whatever his name was. Like, what was his name?
Butane.
That's the
Or
first
that's
second
his,
episode, whatever it
name.
was. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
no one else. You'll probably don't even remember this, but when he was in the pet store and the guy like shot fire at his feet and he like jumps out the way and does stop, drop, and roll, but he actually just starts rolling on the ground in the middle.
Yeah.
He literally jumps away from the fire and just goes on the floor of the pet store and starts rolling around.
Yeah.
Bro. I remember that.
I was crying.
That was great. Yeah. There's some funny moments in the show. I'm trying to think of my favorite. Honestly, my favorite so far besides the Lonnie stuff, would probably
Lonnie,
be.
That's not fair.
Of course, the GOAT. Come on. My favorite would probably be the suit montage that we got. It was just funny, and I actually like. This is to the credit of the show, knowing their stuff. I was watching a breakdown. Shout out! I was watching the new Rockstar's video about like episodes 3 through 5, and I had no idea. There's a storyline in the comics where Norman frames Peter for murder. And so in order to still be a superhero, he frames Spider-Man for murder.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's like wanted, but in order to still be a superhero, he comes up with like 4 alternate identities. So like 4 different suits and everything. Those were the suits we saw. Like cool. Each of those suits Peter had in the comics so he could keep fighting crime while Spider-Man was wanted. Like just little things like that where it's like, all right, like that's dope, you know, just little callbacks, little things like that. So when I learned that, I was even more appreciating. Like it was funny, especially all I could hear was Edna, no capes.
Oh yeah,
yep.
You know,
me too.
Yep, like no poor guy, he just got totally jumped, and he was just wrapped up in a blanket. That's crazy.
Yeah, but, I knew that suit was so ugly too, but that montage was funny.
Yeah,
the little girl was crying and stuff.
Yeah,
that was funny
for sure. What about you, Jace?
Yeah, I would say either the suit montage or seeing like the dynamic from everybody else in the internship. Like that one Wakandan girl, she was so weird. It was so funny. She's like, we all hail from places around the world. They're all from the same city, right? Yeah. And then the other guy, I don't remember his
Amadeus.
name. Yeah, Cho. But he was funny too, and just like seeing the dynamic, Peter struggling in the internship, like that's probably my favorite part so far. Yeah. Of course, excluding Lonnie.
For sure.
But,
yeah. Which I'm glad you brought that up too. I'm just nerding out a little bit on the characters.
No,
Just a side thing. I also forgot to mention Future Lizard, Dr. Carla Connors, is Peter's mentor at Oscorp. And then even down to the interns, it's just pulls of different characters. Amadeus Cho becomes Hulkling in the comics. Like,
oh, does he?
The younger version of Hulk eventually. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
So like just cool stuff like that. It's just like, guys, that's dope.
Wait, was he was in robotics at the internship?
Mm-hmm. It's so good. What do you guys want to see in the second half of the series? What do you hope happens? Is there any redemption for Lonnie? Or is he headed down the path?
Nah, he's headed down the path.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't want him to. That's so sad. I really like his character.
Yeah.
But I think he has to, unfortunately, go down the criminal path.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope nothing happens to like his family.
Right.
Because if something happens to his family, then it's over from there.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
low-key, that might be what happens.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm already, because he's already feeling that sense of like family we saw at the end of episode 5.
Yeah.
He saved Big Donovan.
Yeah.
And he's proud of himself for it.
Yeah.
So from here, honestly, I feel like it's gonna go downhill for him. But
yeah, especially because it seems like a gang war is starting with the Scorpions trying to come onto their turf. So yeah, and I mean, I felt like they were kind of foreshadowing when Big Donovan was talking about like it's because of us that the Scorpions are knocking on your family's door. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was just like, come on, like they're just saying to our face what's gonna happen. But yeah, so we think Lonnie, he's going down the path. He's not really coming back to Tombstone. Do we think by the end of this season the Norman stuff is going to be okay? Or because there's already some kind of weird tension. You could tell Harry and Norman or it's more one-sided. You could tell that Norman really like just does not like Harry. He seems to be really disappointed in him. But Harry's really cool. Seems like a good guy. So are we going to see some kind of turn from one of them to Green Goblin, or are they going to save that? I'm not saying full turn, but I think, are they setting it up right now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely setting it up, but I think they'll save the like Green Goblin for hopefully later season. If not, I feel like it'd be rushed, but I mean, obviously we have 5 episodes, so I don't know.
For sure. I don't know. It's great though.
It is. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't think it'd be like, I just wasn't planning on really watching it, but I'm glad I did. Glad I am.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Anyways, y'all, that's our coverage for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes 1 through 5. We're excited we're excited for what they do in the back half of the show. Leave a like, comment what you guys think about the show so far, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Like, it's genuinely a good show.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of the time on this podcast we're saying how bad stuff is, but this is good. This is really good. So go watch it.
We keep it real.
Yeah. Yeah.
But please follow, guys. Subscribe. Next week, we're gonna be talking about Cap 4. We got that coming. We're gonna keep covering Spider-Man. Also potentially gonna talk about any trailers and stuff that came out for the Super Bowl. There's some we might have missed before, so please follow along. We're doing our best to keep the content coming. So yeah.